Trump. And if you don't think it's all about hating Trump, I don't know if you were watching. I hope some of you took some time off from paying attention to the news over the holidays. But if you were watching on Christmas, they went into the news media as one, because they're all speaking for the same people, the corporations and the Democrats, they're all speaking for them. Then as one, they started riding Trump for not visiting the troops on Christmas. Little did they know that Trump had a plan to surprise the troops in Iraq and visit them for Christmas. Now, these things are planned weeks in advance. To get the president into a war zone, you got to plan the security weeks in advance. So it's not like he was reacting to criticism. Some people on CNN said that. Some people tweeted that out. That Soledad O'Brien, she's obviously handicapped by low intelligence, but still, she tweeted out that, he was responding to being shamed. Absolute nonsense. This was planned in advance. And the other thing was the troops loved him. They loved him. They were cheering for him. They were cheering USA. And here's a little bit of the speech he gave to them.
Well, first of all, at ease. Let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. The other reason I'm here today is to personally thank you and every service member throughout this region for the near elimination of the ISIS territorial caliphate in Iraq and in Syria. 2 years ago, when I became president, they were a very dominant group. They were very dominant. Today, they're not so dominant anymore.
So they're cheering for him, and they're bringing them their MAGA hats that they have for him to sign. And CNN runs a story saying, well, that may be against military regulations, because it's all about getting Trump. Everything is about getting Trump. You don't think so? Here's my favorite one. Here's my favorite CNN story. Trump keeps calling the Russia witch hunt. He keeps calling it a witch hunt because it's a witch hunt. And here is, so CNN went out and interviewed witches who are offended by Trump using that phrase.
There's a lot to be offended by Donald Trump, and I think his use of the term witch hunt is very low on that list of priorities for most witches, but nevertheless, it does demonstrate his ignorance as usual.
The entire thing has been a witch hunt.
But if the president stopped saying witch hunt, he'd have to hunt for a new term. Tweeted someone, I guess he will have to start referring to it as a wild goose chase, but then that might offend geese.
And you know that if he did, it would be CNN that would be out there chasing the geese across the lawn with a microphone. Come back, come back, trying to get that interview of the geese who are afraid. The other thing that, of course, is happening that we should be looking at is the withdrawal from Syria and partly from Afghanistan, which is really interesting because even Lindsey Graham, who lambasted Trump about this, had a lunch with him and came back reassured, saying that it's not going to be as fast as he thought it was, that there'll still be troops in Iraq who can get to Syria. So we'll see. I mean, this is something that, once you're in these boondoggles, it can be as dangerous to pull out as it was to go in. But this is Trump's view that we are not the policemen of the world, that if the world wants peace, let them fight for peace in their own areas. He wants to draw back. As I said before the holiday, America hasn't really decided yet who we are, what role we play, what it means to be the strongest free nation on earth. Does that mean that we support freedom everywhere? Does that mean that we defend everybody? If not, we'll see what happens, because if Trump pulls out and the worst naysayers are right, then we'll have something to complain about. For now, we're just going to have to wait and see if Trump does it in such a way that he can keep enough of the peace where we have to keep the peace to keep the terrorists from coming back. But these are the issues that every issue that we look at should be looked at, as far as I'm concerned, should be looked at on whether it damages our freedom. It damages our freedom not to have the rule of law at the border. It damages our freedom to be misinformed by the press because they hate Donald Trump. It damages our freedom to have everything be a source of hysteria because Donald Trump did it.